And this is definitely not an ordinary audience. Sitting before me is the future of the world. The to-be scientists who are going to find path-breaking solutions. The to-be authors who are going to rewrite the future of the world. The to-be engineers who are going to build the world with their own hands. A single insight taken by one of you over here potentially can change the world forever. As Ms. Benita Dua so beautifully said, what are you going to do? So one of you here can actually change the entire world. And I just want to know which one that's going to be. So let's begin today with an applause, not for the speaker, but for the seeker, which is our future of the world. Thank you so much. So I've never liked doing things the same, usual, boring way. It's never held any appeal to me. So I'm going to begin with a game, okay? I want each of you to tell me what these acronyms mean. And of course, the Gen Z is most welcome to first share. IDK? You can just scream it out. I don't know. Perfect. Is that? Great. What a brilliant audience we are with. FOMO? Fear of missing out. ROFL? This no one knows. My God, I am humbled and honored to be in such a smart audience. This is absolutely brilliant. However, like I said, I don't like doing things the normal way. So let's disrupt your lingo, your way of looking at life, and maybe even at yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my acronym, my version of each of these acronyms, and let's see if it makes any sense to you. Yes? Let's try. So what do you think IDK means to me?
I don't know.
Brilliant answer. So for me, IDK means I do know. Yes, I do know. I'd recently gone for a workshop where, like you, there were so many youngsters, and I asked them, which is that international band that recently created fervor in India? And like the answer just popped in your head, Coldplay. Then I asked them, who is that sportsman who's married to a very famous Bollywood actress? And like the answer probably popped in your mind, they all said Virat Kohli. But then I asked them, what is your greatest strength? And the room was silent. I then asked them, what is your greatest fear? And again, it took a few moments before they could give me the answer. In this era of reels, where we know so much about which celebrity's daughter has wished Merry Christmas to the press, where we know even what body vest the sportsmen we love wear, where we know so much about the couple goals of our neighboring auntie and uncle. How is it that we are missing out on the person who matters the most to us, and that is ourselves? So I urge the future of the world to look at IDK not as I don't know, but as I do know. I do know who I am. I do know what I stand for. I do know who my friends are, and I also know who I want to stay away from. I do know what I want to become in life, and I also know what I don't represent. Because unless you don't define your I do know, the world's going to do it for you, and you'll always be at the mercy of other people's definitions and decisions for you. How do you get to know yourself? How would you know yourself? So here's a very simple, beautiful solution. Take a book, open it where you have two sides of the page. On one you write my areas of improvement, the other you write my phenomenal strengths. You're going to be stunned by the answers the humble paper and pen bring to you. And you can use this for anything. You could use it to how do I become a class topper? How do I achieve what I want to achieve in the next 5 years? You use it to your benefit and you see the way that you get to know yourself. I think it literally saved my life. When I was growing up and when I was in college, everyone around me was either becoming an engineer or a doctor. My own father is an IIT gold medalist, my mother a lawyer, and my sister a doctor, and my husband who's here, but that time wasn't, but he's also an engineer. So when I Everyone wanted me to pick one of these or at least do an MBA. I remember all my friends in Xavier's were like, we are going to IIM Ahmedabad. So I thought I should also pack my bags and go off to IIM Ahmedabad. Fortunately, I missed by a small percentile. And that's when I took a step back and I realized that I was just following the bandwagon and that wasn't really what my heart wanted to do. I always loved playing with words, I loved being creative, and that's what I wanted to do a future in. Everybody was against me. I clearly remember writers themselves coming and telling me, writing is a hobby, you will never earn money out of it, you can't make a career out of it, don't do it. My usually supportive family was completely against me getting into writing. When I bought my first Mercedes in my late 20s, only with the money that I had earned out of writing, I remember the day when my dad sat next to me with tears in his eyes and he told me, thank God you didn't listen to me. Thank God you knew what to do with your life even better than what we knew. And to me that was a defining moment. So I urge the future of the world, if you don't know yourself, who will? Please take some time out to get to know yourself. The second acronym, as soon as possible, does not mean that to me. What can be quicker than AI? Even before you can finish typing a question, it will give you multiple answers. So AI is going to always be the quickest. However, to me, ASAP means as sincerely as possible. As sincerely as possible. A few honest questions. How many of us here set an alarm for 6 a.m. but only wake up by 9 when your mother is ready to blow the fuse? How many of us tell our friends, yes bro, I'll do it, and then develop selective amnesia? So this is what we need to do unless we are sincere. In fact, I have to recognize Dr. Padmaja here. From 6 months, I think we've been in communication, almost 30 mails exchanged. That is her sincerity towards each of your growth today morning. You tell me what's going to be your sincerity. What is going to be your sincerity to this morning itself? Something I've realized is that we all feel at ease around people who think, say, and do all the same. They are integrated. The moment we are around people who are like chameleons, who keep changing colors according, can you ever relate to such people? Have you felt comfortable around such people? So sincerity goes such a long way. In fact, I would like to say this, that today if I enjoy a happy, peaceful family life, I really believe it has a lot to do with my sincerity. My husband will vouch that I'm far from perfect, but what does make me stand apart is I'm always sincere to improve myself. And I would urge all of you to also become very sincere. The second thing I've realized is even in my professional career, today we've been doing all that we've been doing. The biggest thing has been not because we're only innovating or we're excellent, but we evoke trust in our clients. We keep evoking trust, and that's what's made all the difference to us. So I urge the future of the world to really look at sincerity as one of the top qualities that you're going to develop. Everything AI can do, but AI, sincerity, it doesn't even make sense. So I want you to think and how you can be sincere. I love this beautiful quote by my Guru Mahatma where he says, when your thoughts, words and actions are integrated, you're whole. Your instrument for the divine to flow through. So actually, if you want to be the next big role model that you want to be, it begins with what you do today, and that is sincerity. So the next one, FOMO. What do you think it means to me? Fear of missing out to me means freedom of missing out. Freedom of missing out. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by so much information, we're constantly getting, desires are constantly getting created in us. And we don't even know if it's something we want or the world wants us to want it. So how are we going to differentiate? In fact, my neighbor just walked up to me a few days ago and said, hey Megha, do you know Happy Ambani? I've heard of the Ambani family, and I think most of us felt we virtually attended the wedding. But I didn't know who Happy Ambani was. So she said, you don't. She looked at me like I was from Mars, and she said, Happy Ambani is their dog, their golden retriever. So I was like, okay, but what about him? She said, I want a Happy too. So I was like, but you're allergic to dogs. So she said, it's okay, I'm going to manage it. Just seeing Happy made me so happy that I want a Happy. I immediately removed myself from the situation because I felt my Happy was at stake. But that's what FOMO is doing to us. Although it's funny, that's the truth of what FOMO is doing to all of us. It's constantly creating a desire in us for things we don't even want. How ridiculous is that? So, you should know some of these crazy numbers. 60% of people make purchases because of FOMO within 24 hours. And 69% of people overspend to keep up with their peers and avoid FOMO. And I'm sure you all know this. About 100 people go for World Cups because they really love cricket or football. Millions go because everyone is doing. And that's the truth, isn't it? Jumping off your own bed may not hold any appeal to you, but suddenly you want to go bungee jumping because you saw someone in a reel do it. Does this all sound real and true to you? Does it happen to you every single day? So this is what FOMO is doing, and I found great freedom of missing out because I've realized that ultimately I'm going to wake up in my bed. In fact, for all of you, tomorrow, no matter how exciting Ronaldo's life looks to you, the truth is tomorrow you will wake up in your own bed with your mothers looking at your face and saying, Beta, when are you going to study? So no matter how exciting others' life looks, you have to live your life and your truth, and we may as well do a good job of it. Focus on my life and not on what Ananya Pandey is wearing. Not on what Khushi Kapoor is doing, what dance move she is doing. I realized all I did was every single day wake up and do what I felt I had to do towards my goal. So I urge the future of the world to please find freedom in missing out and ensure that you only focus on that which is really relevant to you. Finally, ROFL. So, what is my version? I'll tell you later. But right now, I want all of you to do one beautiful activity. Can you all imagine that you're removing a mobile from your pocket and just hold the mobile? Hold it in your hands. And can you type ROFL? Type ROFL. Did you feel anything? Again, can you type ROFL? Nothing? Now I want all of you to laugh. Just laugh. Laugh, laugh. Don't be on the floor, but in your chair, can you laugh? In your chair, can you roll and laugh? Come on. There can be a lot more laughter here. Come on. Give a high five to your neighbor. Just laugh. How did that feel? How did that feel? Do you know that laughter releases endorphins or the feel-good hormones in our body, which defy age, and there are numerous benefits of it, whereas typing ROFL does nothing to you. Okay, and all of us nowadays have been typing our emotions much more than we've been living. Would you agree? So much of our emotions are all about typing it all out. So here again, so what does ROFL mean to me? It means recreating our feelings life. Recreating our feelings life. I don't think it's possible to live a life with no social media, but I think within the world that we live, to ensure that we stay true to ourselves and our emotions is definitely possible. You remember our grandparents? What did they do? They used to look into each other's eyes. They used to talk to each other. They connected not on Wi-Fi but on chat. And it made all the difference to them. So I urge all of you to look at ROFL as a way to recreate all your feelings within you. So often it happens that you're in a WhatsApp group, right? Suppose you get to know about someone who's had a loss. What do most of us do? We send that emoji of those 3 prayers. My urge to the future of the world is, can you take a few moments, think of the loss that the person has undergone, maybe pray for the family, and then you can express in whatever way you want. So often when someone has a birthday in a group, what do we do? HBD with those three poms, right? We do it, right? How about taking one moment to think of the birthday boy or birthday girl and actually telling them what they mean to you? Would it not make the birthday a lot more special for them? If you want to stand out in any group that you're a part of, be it WhatsApp, be it school, be it when you grow up, what's going to make you stand apart from AI is going to be your feelings, the way you emote, the way you empathize, the way you connect to the world. No matter how deep you seek or what you do with ChatGPT, can you ever recreate the feeling of having a bun maska in a Mumbai evening rainy day? Can you? No matter how much you deep seek, can you ever recreate the feeling of your parents' hug after a long day? Can you ever recreate the feeling of just, sometimes you're with your friends, you're chilling the whole time, and you do nothing, and yet you feel that it's the best day of your life. Does it happen to you? Can you ever recreate that? You cannot. So I urge the future of the world for a simple thing. Of course, let's use AI, let's do wonderful things with ourselves, let's do wonderful things with the world, but let's use technology and not allow technology to use us. I love the way my guru said in such a simple just one sentence. Use technology to create, not to consume. I think it literally sums up everything that I wish to say to you. And if you do that, I think this is going to be your life. YOLO, you only live once, so please, let's make it count.